Very good evening, all of you, particularly those who are in the Indian subcontinent. And in addition to wishing you all a very good evening, I wish you all a very happy Republic Day tomorrow. And many, many congratulations on that great day because the whole nation celebrates its adoption of the tenets and the resolutions of republicanism in India after about 250 years of British rule uh, on the Indian subcontinent. Uh, my main topic to speak on is cleanliness in our personal life, in our social life, and in our environment so that we live healthily and happily and prosperously. Mahatma Gandhi is associated uh, very often with the campaign of cleanliness and with the campaign of truth and nonviolence, and also with the campaign of tolerance and all sorts of virtues which people spiritually rich admire, adore, and try to live by. Gandhiji, in his young days, was like other young people, having ambition of making a career, earning money, looking very neat and clean himself, smart, and living as a famous person. But as he understood the life in a better way, in a Buddha way, Lord Buddha's way, or other great people who had lived their lives previously, Gandhiji started thinking of living a Spartan life, a life of uh, plainness, a life of truthfulness, a life of uh, simplicity without any trace of ostentation. And he uh, got into the India's freedom movement struggle when it was time for him to be famous as a lawyer in South Africa. But then an incident happened in South Africa, it is said, it has been written everywhere, that changed his mind. He suffered humiliation at a station, railway station, where he had bought a first class ticket to travel in a train, but he was not allowed to travel in that first class compartment of the train because he was not a white, he was a non white, not a black exactly, but black like. And ever since that incident, so many things happened in his life, and he turned into a freedom fighter and a lifelong campaigner for truth and non-violence because he didn't want to achieve anything with the help of violence or through violence or with means that had to be had through unfair means. He always wanted to fight morally, spiritually, and he always had faith in the support and help that he would get from the Almighties, the heavenly powers, because he was on the side of truth. And that is what he had learned uh, in his student days also by his parents, by his mother, who was very religious and all. So uh, tomorrow is the 26th of January. And every year on the 26th of January, Republic Day, and then later in the month of August, 15th August, people of India celebrate Independence Day. And so many other celebrations or celebrational days are calendared, and people celebrate, people take resolutions, people make programs, people award, people, I mean, in the government, state governments and the central government. So many functions, so many events are organized, and things are kept alive, and people are brought into more consciousness, more awareness that to be a good citizen of India or to be a developed citizen of India, you can't get it free, as most of the time political parties that are dastardly and they only go for freebies and all that, that they would do everything without the public doing anything, just to bribe the people for elections in the names of castes and colors and communities and all that. Well, this evening I I should talk, and I have decided to talk on that cleanliness. What is cleanliness? Cleanliness is obviously a state in which you don't have dirt, you don't have pollution, you don't have any polluting element or elements in the environment. On the physical level, on the mental level, if you are clean or if you maintain cleanliness, then you don't speak lies. And even if you speak lies, you speak white lies, not harmful ones, not to cheat others. So, cleanliness lies in being clean, in being what you are from inside and outside. You don't have to hide anything. And if you want to hide anything, that means you have something wrong inside or you want to cover it up. That is physical, means roads we see clean. You go to places inside India also, there are many places, many cities where people go to see the level of cleanliness. And then there are mostly the streets, the cities, the towns which are filthily, you can say, what you call lived in, and they don't have any sanitation, you can say, infrastructure. People, even in the sanitation department, they don't work at all, and they leave everything because they don't have to be answerable to the government authorities, because government authorities need votes, and every 5 years or 3 years you have elections, and elections are done, and people come to power, 80% bad people, and then they again start bribing the people, uh, because they themselves are bad, so they can't correct other bad people. They themselves are corrupt, they work for money, they work for power. So those who take a cue from them and want to earn power, want to earn money, want to earn resources without labor, their number increases at a galloping rate. It is therefore very frustrating to see in our society, in the whole of South Asia, even in other parts of the world, more or less, people are being slack. People don't pay attention to what their duties are. We keep our rooms, our homes not uh, clean. We become lazy, particularly when it is the winter season. It's the winter season, and because of the effect of the cold, people lose their efficiency, and then you don't have the level of cleanliness, or they don't maintain that. But even otherwise, when the weather conditions are all right, temperate, and you don't have physical problems. So, in our tendency, we don't give priority to cleanliness. We just live and we pass our time, and even others are not there to provoke us, others are not there to influence us steadily. So, we remain at that stage. Now, cleanliness of integrity, of honesty, cleanliness in matters of what you call personal dealings, social dealings, national dealings, international dealings. So, in all ways, we have to be clean, and that has advantages, and these advantages are not for others, for ourselves. If we have a sense of hygiene, personal hygiene, then we are clean, and we don't contract germs, we don't get infected, we don't have to fall sick every now and then. And if we are healthy, then we do our work better, and we earn also, or even if it is not essential to earn for you, for people, then you keep clean, and your environment is clean. You don't have pollution beyond limits, no noise pollution, no soil pollution, no air pollution, no water pollution, because you maintain cleanliness. You don't dump things in the waters, rivers or ponds or any water bodies. You don't dump garbage in the streets. You don't make use of loudspeakers, or you don't shout at people, you speak as human beings should speak. And so that way you keep things all right, neat and clean. And the first beneficiary of this habit is you, your family, your brothers and sisters, your wards, and the whole society. But what the reality we see is that very few cities and towns are there in India which are really impressively clean. You have garbage dumps or garbage mounds everywhere, stinking. You have to take your hanky out in order to beat the stink of the what you call rotting garbage in the streets or at the street corners. You go to any government office as a journalist, and journalists also actually all people they just do formalities. They show certain pictures, they make certain videos. These days, they make videos of the dying man or a person who is about to commit suicide. They make video, but they don't persuade that person not to commit suicide. They see that accidents are to take place because of the negligence of some people. But the negligent people are not warned. They are not told anything. They allow the accidents to take place because they have to show the pictures and they have to have what they call TRP and all. So what is the relevance of celebrating this festival, Republic Day festival, or 15th of August Independence Day, or so many other national festivals and events when these festivals and events are only for the days when they are organized or they are supposed, you can say, they are conducted. And the rest of the year, nothing is done to see that we come into the habit or we get into the habit of maintaining cleanliness in our personal life, in our family life, in our social life, and then we extend this attitude to wherever we go for work or wherever we go to socialize or wherever we go to have cultural integration or cultural study, and then the whole world. It's not that one part of the world have to be healthy, one part of the world has to be neat and clean, and the other part should not be. No, every part of the world, every society, every country has to contribute so that our ecological balance, they say greenhouse effect, so many black holes and all that, so many negative news stories are published, talked about in the talk shows on the television, but the conditions are not getting checked. Improvement doesn't seem to be coming of fast and coming of thick. Uh, and that proves that only talks are done, only organizations organize events, and for a few days you have a lot of hullabaloo, a lot of noise, and people think that, well, things are being done. But after some time, the same story that nothing is continued for a better change and nothing is done to have an attitude developed among the people everywhere in the world to behave as human beings, to live as human beings for themselves and for the entire humanity. Now, I foresee what will happen tomorrow in the morning. The Prime Minister of India will visit some places where it's a formality to visit and you offer plural tributes to the leaders who had sacrificed their lives in the freedom struggle, or to the military men who fought in decisive or critical wars that had been fought against India, or India had to fight to save its sovereignty and independence. And then you'll have the flag hoisting ceremony, and if the weather conditions allow, and even if the weather conditions allow, the COVID situation is not that lenient, because throughout India you have increasing cases of COVID, Omicron, and other variants have been troubling the population. In the light of these realities, uh, it doesn't seem to be a very bright day tomorrow, because people will not come out with enthusiasm. Even if they come out, their presence will be limited, and they will be afraid also whether to go out or not, because that way they come in close contact with so many people, and sometimes they feel suffocated walking, and they take their mask off, and then the danger of getting infected. But even then, because that's a day, and they have to be celebrated, its spirit has to be recognized, it has to be honored, and people should take resolutions that if we could not do in the past, it is this time that we take or we make resolutions, and uh, we give a promise to ourselves that we'll keep neat and clean, and we live a very happy life. And for that, it's not only for saying. For that, one has to make efforts, one has to work hard, one has to be consistent, and all of us have to be consistent. Different members in the family or people of different age groups. So those who are capable of doing more, and they should take responsibility more. And those who are not capable of doing that much because of their age, or because of their physical weakness, or because of their various impairments, physical and mental, they can't do. So it's the people, healthy people, and it's the active people, it's the strong people who have to take a larger responsibility of making our society clean, our society members neat and clean, and of the attitude that neatness and cleanliness are very important for our healthy, happy, and prosperous life. Otherwise, life is very ordinary. It's dull. It's not exciting. It's not satisfying. It doesn't give you thrill of living. You go to see a beautiful park, a beautiful garden where things are maintained nicely, and you spend half an hour, or you spend 40 minutes, or whatever time you have to spend there in the park or in the garden. You feel much better. And as you leave the park or the garden, you feel satisfied, and you thank God, or you thank the circumstances that brought you to the park, and you had some nice time. And you feel like coming back to that place whenever you get an opportunity. That way, our homes have to be all right. You don't have to be very rich. We only have to be rich in our habits. We only have to be rich in our attitude. That even if I have a small house, I don't have a multi-storied house, or I don't have a big area of my residence. Whatever area I have been able to have for myself, whatever space I have been able to have for myself, that space has to be kept in a nice way and in a decent way, so that other people, they feel inspired. And inspiration is it's a collective thing. uh, uh, you inspire me, and I get inspired, I do something better, and somebody who is not as good as I am, that person gets inspired by me. So inspiration is a positive spread of attitudes and ideas, and then this desire also to get better and better. So, on the eve of the Independence Day tomorrow, I appeal to all people in the Indian subcontinent, which once upon a time was one country, but because of different religions and different ways of life, as they say, you have earning, you have a kind of desire to live separately, because you think that your culture is different. So whatever, let us be correcting ourselves. Let us promise ourselves that we will make South Asia a better place, and then people who come to South Asia, they will have good words for us, and when they go back to their places, then they tell others in their places that South Asia is not as dirty as it is now. It has changed. People have become conscious. They have started living cleanly. They understand the importance of clean environment. They understand the importance of ecology that can be maintained, that can be kept intact through cleanliness, through not dumping things in the water bodies, not burning things in the open air, not having noise made in the streets, not running the, you can say, cars and all that, driving the cars and all that at a breakneck speed. not making use of industrial and things that are used in factories in a bad way, doing everything nice. So, if all of us decide to do that and take a promise to ourselves tomorrow, then it will be a really great day of the republicanism in India or elsewhere in the world. And let people from outside also, if they are more educated, more affluent, more resourceful, then they should share some of their resources, some of their ideas, some of their things with the people of these places where people are not adequately, properly educated, and people have divisions, and they think that public property or public places are everybody's place, so you don't have to take initiative, and that's why. So if it is a public place, then that is nobody's place. This is the common tendency. But a public place is everybody's place. So it is everybody's duty, responsibility to keep it neat and clean and to keep it good for visits for all. And in that sense, our festivals, our national days, our international days, International Women's Day, we celebrate on the 8th of March. So we celebrate and then see you have thousands upon thousands of women around the world. They are kidnapped, they are maltreated, they are mishandled, they are sexually assaulted, and these things continue happening. And there's no full stop to that, or there is no control. Means if you have 1%, means sporadic, sometimes you hear only, then you feel okay, because we are fallible human beings and we fall. But you have the increasing trend. What was the number of women around the world getting maltreated, ill-treated, tortured 20 years ago? Now you have 20 times more that number. It's not coming down. Children, suppose malnourished and all, poor people, they are poor because they are lazy or they don't want to work. They only want to beg in the streets. They don't want to work hard to improve their lots, but they just want to live that way because it's easy for them not to work. This tendency is not all right. Poor people have to be helped, beggars have to be helped, but international agencies and good people, members of good governments of the world, this should come down to such people. You shouldn't go only to five-star hotels to have events organized, programmed, and shown on the television. But influential people, people who really mean good things to happen in the world, around the world, then these people have to come and they have to convince, they have to persuade the unthinking people, the less developed people, that it will be much better for them to be responsible, to be uh, to be all right, to listen to those who have something to tell them worthwhile, and that way only the whole society can benefit. And the most benefits would go to the underprivileged. They are underprivileged because they don't want to come up, and they're underprivileged because circumstances also that health-wise not all right. Nature has not given opportunities, or physically, mentally they are challenged. For such people, special arrangements have to be made, special localities have to be made, and other people have to come to their help. So, my point of view is that in these national days, international days, whether it is International Day for the Handicapped or International Day for the martyrs or for the widows of the army men who die during the conflict, during the wars, so a new start has to be given, a new attitude has to be developed that we belong to the whole world. We human beings living in any part of the world, we are human beings, and our nationalities apart, we are human beings. We may be Americans or Europeans or Asians or Africans, but we are human beings. And if human beings in any part of the world are not living like human beings, they are living like animals, or they are barbaric in their temperament, then that's a question mark on the entire humanity. You may be developed personally or continentally or in terms of your nation, your country, nationally, but these are the um, blots, these are the patches, these are the places where you have things that are not all right to be tolerated. And if you go on tolerating, overlooking them, that okay, these parts we don't have to have any concern with because they are other people live and we are different people, then and the whole world can't be beautiful equally, and humanity will continue to be ashamed of itself because lopsided development or one-sided development or partial development is no development. We have to have complete development, wholesome development for all parts of the world. So I am speaking on the eve of the Republic Day of India, but I also feel like speaking on the eve of so many other events that are to take place tomorrow, nationally, internationally, globally. So it is my appeal to all, wherever they are, to have a feeling of affinity with cleanliness, a feeling of affinity with neatness, a feeling of affinity with honesty, means mental cleanliness. And only then we will be able to have a better world and will be able to claim to have better human life for all of us. Thanks a lot. God bless us. Bye bye.